Good day, 3D printer friends. I've got a project for you today in OpenSCAD. Now, OpenSCAD's got a lot of cool things that you can do with it. It's mathematically based, and you can download it for free. Works on all kinds of Linux and also Windows. I am not a math expert. I did teach math for middle school, but I'm not somebody that, mastered all the math. I just used it when I needed. And let me show you how I learned how to use OpenSCAD. So the first thing I did was I just did a new project, and it launches up the OpenSCAD window. Nothing happening here. So the technique I used to start learning was simply to hit File, Examples, Basics, and then I launched one. When it launches, you get your view over on the right, which shows you what has been built. If you left-click drag, it pans. Right-click drag is how you orbit. And the scroll wheel lets you zoom in, and then of course you can use any combination of those as you're trying to study the shapes that are being built. So let's look over here at the code that is doing this. So it's using a translation where it goes left 24, and I'm hoping Y and Z are 0. So I'm going to just fiddle with these to figure it out. If I change this to 10 and then press F5, it re-renders and shows. And this is where you got to be careful because I was fiddling around with the angles, but that changed on the Y-axis, which I can see right here. And as I orbit around, you can see now that Y is moving in a direction that feels more correct. And you can see that it moved off the Y 10. I'll show you down here on the window. I pressed F5 on the keyboard, but this is the same thing. It is the fast render, and this is F6 where it does the real render of our project. This will give you a more high quality. You can see as you hover, it tells you what the shortcuts are. Another handy one is zoom to extents. So this is how I've done all of my exploring, is by just using things like this and pieces and information on the internet. As we read here, we've got a union of a cube and a sphere. Check it out. There is the union of your cube and your sphere. If I make my cube larger and press F5, you can see I can swallow the entire sphere. If I take it back to 5, I can make the whole cube disappear. Once again, pressing F5. So it's all mathematically based and very easy to explore and start creating amazing things. The next one happens at 0, 0. Notice there was no translate in front of it. And it had a cube with a center that was true, so it built around 0, 0. And it had a sphere that was subtracting. It was an intersection. And then the last one translated 24 to the right, and it was a difference where the cube subtracted the sphere from itself. If I take this and make it a smaller size, let's say 8, it probably won't touch the edges. Let's check and see. Oh, it just barely pokes out, so it totally makes it a different shape, but also could be useful. And if you're really a sharp math student, you will have noticed if our cube is 15 on a side and our sphere has a radius of 8, that is why it still pokes out. If we did 7.5, it should have the tiniest of holes, because 15 and 15 are the same number. Let's see what we get. Oh, not even. Let's do 7.6 just for giggles as we explore. There we go. That's the little sliver I expected to have poking out. Because I like fiddling with these, I want to cut something else out, so I just went to the wiki for OpenSCAD. And it has a link to the OpenSCAD user's manual. And as I look down through here, I can find 3D objects, and I want primitive solids. And I want to try and cut out a cylinder, so I'm just scrolling down to find the cylinder. The cylinder, you can see here, has a height and then both radius for the top and the bottom, and then it can be center true or center false. I'm going to just simply copy this one. I'm going to keep the semicolon, and I'm going to go back to our project. And let's see what happens if we subtract it as well as the sphere, but we change the numbers to something we like. So I'm going to make sure it pokes out by making the height 19. And I'm going to make the radius 8 and 8. So it cuts a large vertical cylinder out of our shape over here. No real reason why, just because I want to. Worked like a champ. 8 was large, so I'm going to change it to 4. And I'm going to make it slope funny. I'm going to do 4 and 2. So it'll be more like a pyramid poking out. Oops, instead of enter, I want a backspace and backspace. And I want to press F5. So there is my large opening on the bottom and a small opening on top. So that is just a fun exploration of OpenSCAD. You can see it was just all a little bit of code, and it turned into cool projects in no time. Let's load a new example and see what else we can find. Let's see a logo. So if we look at that, it is a sphere with cylinders being cut out of it. This tiny bit of code, where it's got a size and then it's got this function, it influences all the other pieces because it uses it. This is the rotation, where it changes it so it comes through in all 3 directions. But there's really only one chunk of code. It just happens 3 times because of the smart coding. If we change the size to be divided by 3 and we press F5, check out how instantly it totally reshapes our project to make it unique by what we needed. And this is how it becomes amazing, is you can scale your creations super simply because of these. If for some reason you wanted to do these at a 45-degree angle, you can just change them to 45s. And then when you press your F5, you can see it coming out kind of like a bowling ball. That's the kind of exploration I like to do as I learn a little bit about OpenSCAD. Alright, I didn't show myself copying and pasting this, but I did just copy and paste it one more time, and then I wanted to see what happened if I changed some more numbers so I can make this happen again. So I just did 90 degrees plus the 145 to get another 135, and when I press F5, now I've got holes slicing everywhere through this. Notice it says right here, the hashtag operator highlights the object. So if I get rid of that, we lose the pink that shows which one is which. Just a crazy funky design, but there you can see how you can take the code that was given and tweak it to make whatever you want. Just don't press enter because it takes a lot more backspaces to get back. Holy moly, 1.5 did not do what I wanted. I wanted to make them smaller. So I'm going to press 4 and I'm going to try that again. So much fun to just guess, check, explore, and start learning some cool things about OpenSCAD. That kind of looks like a cat toy. So I'm going to cut you loose exploring your own things. Please, if you come up with something cool, add it in the comments and I'll highlight it in my next OpenSCAD training. If you find something neat to print with OpenSCAD, let me know. Sometime I'm going to track down a castle I made in OpenSCAD, and I'll show you how I built that. So it was actually a real project that I wanted out of solid shapes, and it was pretty sweet. So thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.